The room smells like cigarette smoke and old wood. Your knees press into the tatami floor. Across from you, 5 men sit perfectly still, dark suits, empty faces, one of them holds a blade. No one explains the rules. You already know them. Your finger rests on the table. The blade glints under yellow light. If you're accepted tonight, you belong to the family. If you fail, the door behind you will close forever. The man across the table finally speaks. Loyalty is proven in blood. Silence fills the room again. You realize something unsettling. Joining isn't the hard part. Surviving is. Because inside the world of the Yakuza, every man has a rank and every rank has a cost. And once you step into the hierarchy, there is only one direction your life can move. Deeper. Power structures like this don't survive for centuries by accident. They survive because they understand human psychology better than most governments. Loyalty is engineered, fear is institutionalized, authority becomes ritual. The system reshapes you. At first, you think you're joining a group of criminals, but what you're actually entering is a living hierarchy, a machine built on obedience, status, and sacrifice. Every rank changes how people treat you. Every promotion changes how you see the world. By the time someone reaches the top, they are no longer the same person who first knelt on the tatami floor. So what does that transformation actually look like? What is daily life like at each level of the Yakuza hierarchy? What do you gain as you rise? And more importantly, what do you lose? The first rank is the lowest point in the system. You are a shade, the younger brother. Your life is simple and brutal. You run errands, you collect debts, you stand silently behind higher-ranking members when they enter rooms. You are the body that absorbs risk before anyone important has to. If a deal goes wrong, you're the one standing closest to the door. If violence erupts, you're the first one expected to move. Respect does not exist yet, you earn it slowly, transaction by transaction. Most days are spent doing tasks that seem small but are carefully observed. How fast you respond, how well you follow orders, whether you hesitate. Hierarchy studies people the way predators study prey. The older members are watching constantly. Not just your actions, your reactions. Because in a system built on loyalty, hesitation is the first sign of weakness. Psychologically, this stage is defined by fear. You fear disappointing your superiors, you fear being seen as unreliable, and you fear something worse becoming invisible. In organizations like this, invisibility kills careers faster than failure. So you take risks. You prove yourself. And if you survive long enough, something changes. You become Kyodai, the older brother. Now the hierarchy tilts slightly in your favor. You're still far from power, but you're no longer expendable in the same way. Younger members look to you for direction. You guide them, train them, sometimes discipline them. Authority begins here in small doses. You start organizing collections, managing small crews, handling negotiations that would have been far above your level before. But power introduces something new. Ego. For the first time, people listen when you speak. They step aside when you walk into a room, and if you're not careful, the system begins quietly testing you. Authority reveals personality. Some men become disciplined, others become reckless. Because here's the psychological trap: the more power you taste, the more you want it. Ask yourself something. At this level, would you stay cautious? Or would you start pushing the boundaries of the system? The hierarchy notices both. Above you now sits the Wakashu. These are the senior soldiers, the operators who actually run much of the organization's daily activity. Your life becomes more strategic. You coordinate businesses. You supervise gambling houses, construction fronts, entertainment districts. You maintain relationships with other families, and most importantly, you control money flow. Money is the bloodstream of organized power. And suddenly, you're holding arteries. With money comes trust, but also suspicion. Everyone above you understands one uncomfortable truth about human nature. Access to money changes loyalty. So your life becomes a careful balancing act. Too aggressive and you look greedy. Too passive and you look weak. Psychologically, this is where paranoia begins to form. You start watching people the way your superiors once watched you. Every conversation feels layered, every deal carries hidden motives. Because betrayal doesn't come from enemies. It usually comes from people who sit next to you. If you've made it this far, you've proven something important. You can operate inside the system. But the next promotion changes everything. You become Kyodaiga Shira. Now you command multiple crews. You're not just executing operations anymore, you're shaping them. You decide which neighborhoods get attention, which businesses receive pressure, which alliances are worth maintaining. Responsibility multiplies. And so does the weight of failure. When a soldier makes a mistake now, the blame doesn't stop with them. It climbs upward. To you. This is where many men break psychologically, because leadership inside criminal hierarchies carries a unique burden. You must appear calm, even when chaos unfolds beneath you. Fear spreads downward in organizations like water through cracks. If your soldiers sense hesitation, discipline collapses. So you learn to suppress emotion. Cold decisions become normal, loyalty becomes transactional, you reward obedience, you punish disobedience, and slowly something inside you adapts. Empathy fades. Authority reshapes how your brain processes people. They become assets. Or threats. If you've followed the hierarchy this far, ask yourself another question. At what point does survival require you to stop seeing people as human? Because the higher you climb, the harder it becomes to turn that perspective off. Above you now stands the Wakigashira, the underboss. This position sits directly beneath the boss of the entire family. Your life is no longer about street operations. It's about maintaining stability across the entire organization. Conflicts between crews, negotiations with rival families, political connections, law enforcement pressure, media attention, financial expansion. Everything flows through you. And something else happens at this level that few people outside criminal hierarchies understand. Isolation. The closer someone gets to ultimate authority, the fewer honest conversations they experience. Everyone around you has motives. Subordinates want promotion. Rivals want your position. Even allies sometimes calculate whether your fall could benefit them. Power removes the ability to trust naturally. You begin analyzing every smile, every compliment, every silence. Psychologists call this the isolation effect of authority. But inside systems like this, it feels simpler. Lonely. And dangerous. Which raises an uncomfortable thought. Would you even want to keep climbing, knowing the cost? Because above the underboss sits another role few outsiders fully understand. The Seiko Kamen. The senior advisor. These are the strategic minds of the organization, often older, experienced, deeply connected. They don't command armies of soldiers. They influence decisions. Advisors shape long-term strategy, political relationships, financial investments, conflict resolution. They operate quietly, but their words can determine whether wars begin or end. Psychologically, this rank represents transformation. The impulsive young recruit who once proved loyalty through violence now survives through patience, perception, and calculation. Experience replaces aggression. But there is also a darker realization that settles in. You have watched dozens of men rise and fall beneath you. You've seen loyalty break, families collapse, friends disappear. And somewhere along the way, survival became your only real goal. Which leaves one final position in the hierarchy. The Kumicho. The boss. The father of the family. From the outside, this position looks like absolute power, thousands of members, vast money networks, influence stretching across cities. But reality feels different from the inside. Because ultimate authority comes with ultimate responsibility. Every conflict lands on your desk. Every alliance depends on your decisions. Every betrayal threatens your life. Your schedule is filled with meetings, negotiations, strategy discussions, crisis management. The organization never sleeps and neither does the pressure. But the most unexpected change happens internally. Control becomes an illusion. At the bottom of the hierarchy, survival depends on obedience. At the top, survival depends on predicting chaos. One wrong judgment, one betrayal, One ambitious subordinate and decades of power can vanish overnight. History inside criminal empires proves this again and again. Bosses rarely fall because of enemies. They fall because someone beneath them decides it's time. And when you reach the top, you finally understand the truth no recruit sees on their first night inside the room with the blade. Power is not freedom. It is gravity. The higher you climb, the heavier it becomes. Which leads to a final question worth thinking about. If you were offered the chance to climb this hierarchy from the very beginning, knowing everything you now know, would you still accept? Would you stay a loyal soldier? Rise toward authority? Or disappear quietly before the system reshapes you completely? Because systems like this reveal something uncomfortable about human nature. People chase power believing it will bring security. But the closer they get to it, the more they realize security was the one thing they lost along the way. If exploring hidden hierarchies like this interests you, the systems, the psychology, the invisible rules that govern power, there are many more worlds beneath the surface waiting to be examined. But before leaving this one, consider the question one last time. In a structure built on loyalty, fear, and ambition,